How sad or bad is your story? Why have you decided to give up, not pick the pieces, rise from the ashes, and forge ahead? Let me tell you a story. The story of Babagana Bulama from Banki in Bama local government of Borno State. He came to Lagos in 2010 in protest to a forced marriage his parents wanted him to engage in. On getting to Lagos, 9 days after stepping his leg in Lagos, he was arrested and detained in prison for 8 years. As at the time of the arrest, he couldn't speak English nor Hausa. He only spoke in Kanuri. He didn't understand what those who arrested him were saying, neither did they understand what he was saying. But while in prison, he enrolled in the primary school. After passing through the primary school, he went through the secondary school. And upon his release, 8 years after, he was in SS2. Beyond going to school in the prison, he learned carpentry. He learned how to repair generators. He was the muazzin in the masjid, and he was also the maintenance officer in the mosque at the Kirikiri Maximum Prison. We were able to assist him in 2018 when he came out of the prison. That is not the only sad end of that is not the only aspect of his story. While in prison, his town was ransacked. His families were dispersed. His mom moved with his siblings to Cameroon. His dad wasn't too lucky. His dad also tried to find his way to Cameroon, but along the line, his dad was arrested, and as we speak, his dad is still in a prison in Cameroon. Beyond that, upon his release, he didn't sit back and wait for things to happen. He enrolled in a school upon his release. He was teaching Arabic in another school, and he got a bike through assistance from good-hearted Nigerians, and he was making ends meet. Along the line, about 2 years into that journey, he developed a very serious tuberculosis, and he was admitted in the hospital for 8 months in Cameroon. But he didn't also stay. He took up the journey from there, and now back in Lagos into his bike business, and sometimes engages in carpentry work and bricklaying. Yes, I'm not telling you the story of somebody who has become a president or a governor. I'm only telling you the story of resilience. How bad is your story? Is it as bad as Babagana's story? It's a rhetorical question. Babagana exemplified the words of Nadine Sadaka when she said, "It doesn't matter if you fall down, everyone does. What matters is what you do next. You either stay down or rise again. That's what determines your strength." Let me tell you some personal story. In 2016, I applied for an award. It was the 40 Under 40 award by the Nigerian Legal Awards. I filled the form, which has combined 7,000 characters for 11 days with the assistance of 2 of my colleagues. As at the time, I was very confident that very few people in my age range and my year of call could match the work I've done. As at that time, I must have gotten, that was just 6-year post-call, I must have gotten more than 20 judgments in court, from the High Court to the Supreme Court. So I felt if they were going to choose anybody for this award, I should be number 1 or number 2 or number 3. But alas, I didn't make the award. What did I do? Did I give up? Something happened. Just shortly after the disappointment of this award came, I was seriously devastated. I saw the application for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I had to just take a part of what I had submitted for the Nigeria Legal Award. I filled the form, and at the first asking, I got on the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I decided not to sleep on it. So today, I know that many of you have received rejection letters from the same fellowship 2 days ago. What you need to do is dusk your application again, apply for other awards, and beyond that, you need to do more. Let me tell you another story of attempting to rise up. So after the Mandela Washington Fellowship, during the lockdown, I sat down and I looked back at what I had achieved through the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I did a comparison between what I had done and what some of my colleagues have equally achieved. Those who got doctorate scholarship from the institute they served in the US, those who got big grants, and those. I felt I didn't make the most of my time in the US. But instead of sitting down and brooding, I decided to share my story. So I did a webinar on things I wish I knew earlier, focusing more on my lack and the reason why people should improve in their social intelligence. So through this particular webinar, people called for mentorship, full-time mentorship. So I did a free mentorship. Some people said, so a friend of mine advised me to monetize the mentorship. I did. I monetized the mentorship, and a lot of people actually attended that program. Beyond the mentorship, from the weekly, From the weekly engagement with the mentees, I decided to now compile all the weekly presentation into a book. I'm sure some of you received that book yesterday, which is Thrive. And from that particular book, I actually sold a lot of copy, at least for a first-time writer. I sold a lot of copy of the book, and I made at least quite an appreciable amount of money. What I've tried to paint here is for us not to sit down and keep brooding and regretting with our present circumstances. The world is large enough for everyone to fly. And sometimes, through pain, you actually get your greatest gains. You need to talk about turning wounds into wisdom. Nagato said, sometimes you must hurt in order to know, fall in order to grow, lose in order to gain, because life's greatest lessons are learned through pain. In closing, I want to tell you some things you need to pay attention to while you try to grow, while you try to rise again from the pains of terrorism and from the pains of the pandemic. This is not exhaustive, but they are just things I feel I need to put the searchlight on. First and foremost, do not envy those around you. We all grow, and we do not grow in equal measures. Because if you envy those around you who are doing better than you, or whom you think are doing better than you, because sometimes you think somebody is doing better than you, but the person is actually doing worse. Envy will kill you. Secondly, bury your heads in books and seek constant improvement. Bury your heads in books and seek constant improvement. Because hidden in those books are things your personal experience will never be able to achieve in thousands of years, but you will learn through the experiences of others. 3, get a mentor. For every key aspect of your life, even if you have to pay, please get a mentor. You will get there faster. And lastly, place absolute reliance on Allah. And remember Him in times of abundance and in times of distress. Allah bi dhikrillah tatma'innul qulub. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find peace. Thank you very much.